While many of us probably have negative associations with bees because of times that we were stung as children, we probably could also not imagine living in a world without them. Many of us probably use a bee product every day, whether or not we realize it. Bee products such as honey and beeswax are used in the cosmetics industry and in cuisines all around the world. Additionally, beeswax is frequently used in medications as a binding agent. Many of us probably also remember watching the Bee Movie 2009, in which Barry B. Benson must win a lawsuit against the human race for stealing their honey. Did you know that the Bee Movie was actually made in response to a very real and worrying decrease in the global bee population during the winter of 2006? While Jerry Seinfeld may have been able to make light of this dip, the main threat to bee populations today is neonicotinoid insecticides, which are harmful to many varieties of bee. Today, I would like to inform you of the dangers that these chemicals pose to our bee population, as well as why you should care. Honeybees are unique because they are the only source of the agricultural products that they provide, and by decimating the bee population, we would cause irreparable damage to our crops and plant species. In fact, it may surprise you just how prolific the use of honeybee products are in our society, as well as the effect that honeybee pollination has on our crops. Honeybees are an important part of the Earth's ecosystem. According to a study conducted in 2011 by the University of Northampton, 87.5% of the world's flowering plant species rely on animal pollination, which comes almost entirely from honeybees worldwide. Additionally, a 2007 peer-reviewed study showed that 75% of the world's leading food crops produce more fruit or seeds with animal pollination. Food production as a result of pollination accounts for 9.5% of the total value of the world's agricultural production. In addition to the agricultural benefits of pollination, bees provide beeswax and honey. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's National Agricultural Statistics Survey, honeybees made 157 million pounds of honey in 2019. Honey goes for approximately $1.97 per pound, making the total net worth of honey produced in the United States in 1 year to be $340 million. There's less specific data for beeswax, but its many uses in the cosmetic and medicinal industries cannot be understated. Many of you likely use a bee product every day in the form of lip balm, makeup, or medication. While bee products are prevalent in our everyday life, from food to beauty products, their populations decline year by year due to man-made causes. Honeybees are threatened by neonicotinoid insecticides, which are the most common form of insecticide in the United States. Neonicotinoid insecticides were first introduced in the early 1990s and quickly became the most widely used insecticide in America. Insecticides are ingested by the bee when they extract nectar from the flower of the plant. The presence of even small amounts of neonicotinoids can cause bees to lose their natural sense of direction, causing them to get lost when leaving the hive for nectar. Colony collapse disorder is a phenomenon that occurs when the vast amount of the worker bees in a colony leave the colony or die, leaving the queen bee and the bees that work within the hive all alone. This disorder quickly leads to the death of the hive as there is no influx of nectar for the worker bees to convert into honey. Without the production of honey, the queen will eventually starve to death and the colony dies. The main metric that scientists use to measure the health of global bee populations is the percentage of colonies that survive the winter each year. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, some beekeepers began to record unusually high levels of hive mortality in the winter of 2006 and 2007. While legislation was passed following the winter of 2007 that limited the scale at which neonicotinoids could be used, the ongoing use of neonicotinoids in home gardening and mosquito spraying still threatens local bee populations and can build up in these communities over time. While government interference has helped stop the decline of bee populations, these insecticides still pose a threat to honeybees. On an individual level, you can avoid mosquito spraying and garden insecticides, both of which use neonicotinoids. Bees are the most prolific pollinators, and having them in your garden or yard is extremely beneficial. By using these poisons, you don't just damage the health of your own plants, but also the entire community that colony pollinates.